Okay, welcome everybody. We actually have our annual Inland Lakes District public hearing and meeting set for tonight. The first thing that we have is a public hearing for the Inland Lakes Protection and Rehabilitation District. And I'll call this meeting to order, and I'll have Barb take the roll.
Mayor Brian Smith,
Here.
Colin Dykstra,
You muted him. He muted.
can I just go on, or do you want me
What
to wait?
happened to your camera? Here. TV's here.
Josh Warner to the
All
council
right,
chamber,
Colin's
please.
here.
Okay. Paul Hagan,
Here.
Eric Halverson,
Here.
Dimitri Martin,
Here.
Paul Mayo,
Here.
Corey Nagel,
Here.
Eric Olson,
Here.
Dave Peterson,
Here.
Scott Perchatsky,
Here.
Henry Veliker.
Here.
10 present, we have a quorum.
I'm here now. If you're worried, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up is the purpose of the hearing, and I'm just going to point this out for the public hearing purposes, and then Laura's going to go into more detail once we get into the regular meeting on that. So it was posted in the newspaper, and it's also on your agenda tonight. It's in two places on your agenda, one in the regular city council packet, and then there was also an Inland Lakes packet that was posted to the website. They're the same thing, so either one you're looking at. So you can see the one that says public notice at the top. The Inland Lakes, we are, as you all know, we are commissioners for the Inland Lakes, and we hold are required to hold an annual meeting to approve a budget for the next fiscal year. And so that's really what the public notice is about, is the amount of property taxes that we're going to levy, and then how we're going to use those expenses during the year. And Laura's going to go into more detail on that. But at least for the public hearing purposes, I think that's enough detail to get the public hearing going. So at this time, I would take testimony in favor of the public notice that's been posted. If you'd like to say anything, step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Anybody has testimony in favor of? Hearing and seeing none, we will take testimony in opposition. Is there any testimony in opposition? Again, hearing none and seeing none, I will declare this public hearing closed at 6:04 p.m. Next up is the Inland Lakes Protection and Rehabilitation Annual District Meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, April 19th, and it is 6:04 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. And again, Barb, you want to just take attendance here?
Sure. Mayor Brian Smith,
Here.
Colin Dykstra,
Here.
Paul Hagan,
Here.
Eric Halverson,
Here.
Dimitri Martin,
Here.
Paul Mayo,
Here.
Corey Nagel,
Here.
Eric Olson,
Here.
Dave Peterson,
Here.
Scott Perchatsky,
Here.
Henry Veliker.
Here.
10 present, we have a quorum.
All right, next up is to approve the agenda, which is on page 2 of your packet. It's on the same page as the public notice, but you go down under the first paragraph there, it starts the agenda and then gives the budget right below that too. So it's a pretty simplified version of an agenda and information here. So we would need a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Nagel, that we approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, say no. Motion carried. We have minutes from the previous Inland Lakes meeting, and you can see that starting on page 3. I'm sure you all had a chance to read those over. If there's no disagreements, then we would need a motion to approve those and place them on file. Anybody want to make a motion to approve so we can place these on file?
approve.
Motion by Peterson, second by Olson, that we approve the minutes of the public hearing and annual meeting held on September 3rd, 2024. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. All right, so this is in the form, the budget is in the form of a resolution, and it's resolution number IL 54. So after Laura makes her presentation, that would be what we're asking you to approve, is resolution number IL 54. So Laura, it's all yours.
Thanks, Mayor. So I will just start with page 2 of your packet, which is the budget. We have an estimated cost of around $5,600 for the year of 2025. What we've used for the professional services this year are the spring and fall testing for Mirror and Shadow Lake, summer sampling, which does phosphorus and chlorophyll, and we have been doing a weekly E. coli beach testing. And in case you haven't heard, we had one bad test. We tested the next day. It was great numbers, and we've had great numbers since then. So our beach has been clean except for that one really hot week. And we're going to add a river water test for the first time to get a baseline for our Waupaca River. And we've got a community member who is going to help us out with that. He's also on the Inland Waters Committee. So the lake samples total 1,831. We conducted the goose roundup, which was $3,500, but the $900 of that was in the Friends of Waupaca Parks account. So only $2,600 came out of this budget. And then we also put plantings along the channel between Mirror and Shadow Lake. We put native plants there to help with the sand blowing into the channel. We've been dealing with the channel levels diminishing and making it more difficult for watercraft to get through. So we want to stop it before the sand gets in there. And then once we've got some really good, robust plants, then we can look at potential dredging down the road if that's necessary. So the plantings came to a total of 1,284. So that's the budget so far this year. If we stay on track, we'll have a fund balance of about $40,769. So therefore, if we need to do dredging, or next time we need to do the inland or the lake management plan, we'll have money within the budget to do those more expensive tasks down the road. Some of the really wonderful things that have occurred with our Friends of Mirror and Shadow Lake group. Our first priority was to really look at what the group's intentions are and our purpose. And there's 4 bullets that we came up with. One was preserve and protect the lakes, educate the landowners and those within the city, continue with our existing plans, so the lake management plan. And then we also wanted to enhance the signage to help monitor the boats. So one of the other things that we did is there's a bulletin board down at the boat landing, and we updated all the signage down there. And one of the more prolific invasives that are coming to town, in fact, it's already in the Chain of Lakes, is starry stonewort. So we made sure that we called out that invasive plant. It's not yet in our waterways. We want to keep it out. It is transferred via mud stuck to motors. So we really want people who put their boats in to take that off or wash off their motors really well. We also, through Friends of Mirror and Shadow Lake, conducted some outreach for the first time since I've been on the committee. And that meant that we put some goodie bags together with information on how to be good stewards of the lake. And we handed those out during the summer night concerts and the city band concerts. I already mentioned the channel. I think you all are aware that we moved the kayak rental site to the beach, so we will know more about that and how that went at the end of this year. We also discussed with the DNR whether or not we should stock fish in Mirror and Shadow Lake, and we came to the conclusion that that's not necessary. We have a really great balance of the both kinds of fish, the predator and the prey, and if we don't want to imbalance that at all, and our fisher folk find enough fish when they get in there and know where to go. We will look at putting more fish sticks in this winter, and We had a very successful goose roundup, which you should know about already. We got 99 total geese from the city, and that's really helped keep our beaches clean. And the other thing that's unrelated to Mirror and Shadow Lake is we had a very successful 2024 river cleanup on the Waupaca River. That was after this inland lakes meeting. And then there was not one scheduled this year, but luckily Ed the diver, who's a famous Facebook guy, came twice now to Waupaca to clean out Waupaca River. So that's been cleaned out as well. And we are potentially going to receive a kayak launch from Adventure Outfitters. They are working on the engineering aspect of that, getting that into a river, because putting something stable in a river can pose a problem. So they're trying to solve that problem, and we'll get a new kayak launch by Rotary Riverview Park if they're able to do that.
All right, thanks, Laura. Awesome. Anybody have any questions? Comments? And so you can see that the budget, as far as it has to do with property taxes, is the same as it was in 2025, and that's that $10,000 number, so that is not going up. That does show up on your property tax statement as a separate line, of course, so it doesn't show right in with the city taxes. So if there's no other questions, as I said before, we would be looking for a motion to approve this budget, which is resolution number IL 54.
Move to approve.
Motion by Martin.
Second.
Second by, I'm sorry, who said second? Oh,
I'll second.
by Colin
Dykstra.
Dykstra.
Yep.
To approve the resolution IL 54. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Aye.
We need to take a roll call because it's a resolution. Thank you.
Colin Dykstra,
Quit kicking me.
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson, Scott Perchatsky,
Aye. Henry
Veliker,
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right, thanks, Barb. We need a motion to adjourn this Inland Lakes meeting then.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Hagan, second by Olson, that we adjourn the City of Waupaca Inland Lakes Protection and Rehabilitation District meeting is adjourned until its next annual meeting, which is normally in August, so it'll be August of 2026, subject to call. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against,
Aye.
say no. Motion carried. Next up, we actually have a public hearing, regular public hearing before the city council meeting. So again, before we start city council, we're gonna do this public hearing. This has to do with special assessments for public improvements in the city of Waupaca. I will call this meeting to order, and again, Barb, if you wanna take a roll, please.
Mayor Brian Smith,
Here.
Colin Dykstra,
Here.
Paul Hagan,
Here.
Eric Halverson,
Here.
Dimitri Martin,
Here.
Paul Mayo,
Here.
Corey Nagel,
Here.
Eric Olson,
Here.
Dave Peterson, Scott Perchatsky,
Here.
Henry Veliker,
Here.
10 present, we have a quorum.
All right, and we had a public notice that was put in the newspapers and posted outside of City Hall. Justin, you want to just explain what this is, please?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. This is extending a sewer line from North Street to Bailey Street. There is a vacant lot at 345 Bailey. A new house is planned to go up pretty soon, so we're extending that to that property to provide that sewer service. Our ordinance dictates that new sewer or new private septic should not be going in. So that lot plus the one next to it is not served by municipal sewer. So the extension boils down to the cost of it being a special assessment to the two parcels that are shown in the notice. So the notice was published in the newspaper. We posted it on our website. The newspaper posted it on their website as well. So the parcel numbers, addresses, and the estimated Cost is listed within. This is preliminary, so it is all just estimated. We'll do a final after the work is complete with actual numbers, and then those will be posted as a special tax or a special assessment against the tax bills. Behind the notices is the report and plan, so that gives you an idea of where we're going with this new line. Again, starting at an existing sewer on North Street, extending it up to Bailey to service 2 lots that are currently unserved by sewer utilities. Or, yes.
Thanks, Justin. Okay, at this time then, this is the public hearing. We will take testimony in favor. If there's anybody in testimony in favor of this purpose of this hearing, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Any testimony in favor? Hearing none, we will take testimony in opposition. Any testimony in opposition? Again, hearing none, we will declare this hearing closed at 6:16 p.m. All right, next up is our regular city council meeting. Let me just get there before we start. All right, welcome everybody to the regular city council meeting. Today is August 19th, 2025. It is 6:17 p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. And as always, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll have Barb read the clerk's open meeting statement.
This meeting and all meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And again, one more time, if you would take roll, please.
Mayor Brian Smith.
Here.
Colin Dykstra.
Here.
Paul Hagan.
Here.
Eric Helverson.
Here.
Dimitri Martin.
Here.
Paul Mayo.
Here.
Corey Nagel.
Here.
Eric Olson.
Here.
Dave Peterson.
Here.
Scott Perchatsky.
Here.
Henry Veliker.
Here.
10 present. We have a quorum.
Thanks, Barb. And do you want to start the introduction of the department heads, please?
Sure. Barb Nowak, City Clerk.
Josh Finch, City Administrator.
Eric Bailey, Library Director.
Juliana Stos, Community and Economic Development Director.
Stephanie Reif, Finance Director.
Justin Behrens, Director of Public Works.
Laura Colbert, Parks and Rec Director.
Pete Krager, Chief of Police.
And of course, Josh Warner is in the back room, running the cameras and the microphones and so on. Next up is your consent agenda. All these items are where we take one motion and approve all of these items with that one motion. Unless you see something on that consent agenda that you would feel that you should move to the regular agenda. Is there anything that you would like to see moved to the regular agenda? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Olson.
Second.
Second by Veliker that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no.
Aye.
Motion carried. Sorry, Colin, I'm slow down a little here. Next is the regular agenda. There are no changes to or additions to the regular agenda, so again, to get started here, we just need a motion to approve the regular agenda. Oh, I should tell you that Stephanie did download the financial report. There is going to be an audit presentation tonight, and that was downloaded to our website. Hopefully all of you saw that. Otherwise, I'm sure it will be up on the screen too, but you should have that. All right, a motion to approve?
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion by Nagel.
Second.
Second by Peterson that we approve the regular agenda. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say
Aye.
no. Motion carried. Under non-agenda items, we do public input. This is for non-agenda items. If you would like to speak to the council on anything that's not on the agenda tonight, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, limit your time again to 3 minutes or less.
Mayor, I have something.
Yeah, Henry, go ahead.
This last week, we had some visitors in from Romania. Our Rotary Club sponsored them. And they were a delegation that wanted to learn more about local government in the U.S. and particularly Wisconsin. Just want to thank the mayor and Juliana, Justin, and Josh for making themselves available. They got a lot out of the session. 4 of the 6 are elected officials, so a lot of questions were directed to the mayor, so they wanted to hear from him as an elected official. The second one I have, if you'll indulge me, I don't know if you guys see the League of Wisconsin Municipality e-newsletter. One a couple weeks ago did report that Tier C funding for transit's got about $1.8 million more in it. Now, that's not the solution long-term, but it's probably a little bit of the piece that sounds like there's a little more funding available that we can maybe consider in the future. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else, council, staff? All right, so this is a little unusual, but Russ Buckowitz and Kari Espenson, husband and wife, had asked to be on the under public input tonight. They are unable to attend, so they actually sent in a video audio of their presentation. So first of all, you'll hear 3 minutes from Kari, and then right after that, you'll hear 3 minutes from Russ. So again, this is under public input, so it's a non-agenda item. And Juliana's going to start it.
My name is Kari Espenson. I live at 124 East Lake Street in Waupaca, and I'd like to share this video with you on behalf of the Oz Natural Area and Center for Biodiversity Education.
My name is Dean Moberg. I'm recently visited Waupaca, Wisconsin. I'm retired recently from the Natural Resources Conservation Service, which is part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I worked for 35 years in Michigan, Oregon, and central Wisconsin. After retiring, I was elected to the board of directors of the Soil and Water Conservation District, and I recently had a great opportunity to visit the Oz Natural Area for Biodiversity Education, and just was amazed at what a great job folks are doing out there. What I really liked about the Oz project is the great biodiversity pieces, and I've seen a bunch of restoration projects, but this one is just great. The diversity of plants, which is good not only just because of the diversity of plants by itself, and some of these plants are at-risk species, but also because it provides habitat for a lot of bird species and mammals and other wildlife habitat that are having a really hard time because these prairie ecosystems are, to a great extent, has disappeared, not just in Wisconsin, but across the country because it has been developed into agriculture or urban areas. We need agriculture, we need to eat, and we need urban areas, we need to live. But preserving these places and restoring these habitats like at Oz is really important to protect water quality, to sequester carbon, and to provide educational opportunities for people to come and see the land. One of the really tricky parts of prairie restoration or oak savanna restoration, which is also happening at Oz, these ecosystems are dependent on regular disturbance. Disturbance is prescribed burning, which works great in many areas. For the Oz area, I think there's a lot of challenges there because you're close to the urban area and there's concerns about fire and also smoke. And then work really well is with grazing domestic animals. Especially in a place like Oz, I think goats are great because they eat invasive shrubs, which cattle and sheep won't touch. The goats will take out the invasive shrubs and let the native vegetation like the oaks prosper and come back to the ecosystem and keep it in the state that is so important and it's disappeared over so much of Wisconsin. Anyways, my hat off to the folks who did this restoration project and to the folks in city government who are supporting it. Great job, folks. Keep up the good work, and hope to come back to Waupaca and visit it again soon.
Yeah, that was Kari's 3 minutes, and next is Russ's. Turn it up.
Good evening,
just a little
council
bit if you
members
can,
and staff.
Julian.
My name is Russ Buckowitz, and I live at 124 East Lake Street. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the Oz Natural Area and Center for Biodiversity Education. On July 2nd, we received unanimous approval from the City Plan Commission to use goats on a temporary basis for invasive species management in the natural area with their permanent residents to remain at our farm in the town of St. Lawrence. The goats were to be limited to no more than 30 days and approved for 2025 alone, contingent upon receipt of a site plan and permit application. What was not disclosed to us or to Plan Commission members at that time was the city would be imposing a substantial fee in order to approve the permit. It was not until we attempted to submit the application that we were notified of fees ranging from between $150 and $350, and that fees of uncertain amounts could be assigned in future years. No other community in our state that we have found charges the fees the city of Waupaca is seeking to impose. The city of Appleton charges no fee. Hudson charges $25. Iola charges no fee and in fact is assuming the cost for grazing to adjacent private properties. To be clear, the goats would not be used for animal husbandry within the city, but would be applied to the land as a biologic control, much like loosestrife beetles have been used to control invasive purple loosestrife in the city. Businesses like the Waupaca Country Club and many private landowners apply chemical pesticides to their properties to control undesired plants. To my knowledge, no citizen or business is required to apply for and pay for a permit from the city in order to treat problematic vegetation. Nor is there any municipal activity to ensure applications comply with safety standards to ensure the well-being of adjoining residents, landowners, ground, and surface water. Golf courses, for example, have been shown to use 2 to 4 times the amount of pesticide per acre compared to conventional agriculture. Pesticides have potentially far greater adverse impact on the health of a community than 9 goats on 34 acres of property located in a heavy industrial district. Even low-grade exposure to pesticides has been associated with a variety of health issues, including cancer and neurologic disease. We are happy to provide information on where the goats would graze. However, we strongly object to the current and unknown future fees the city is seeking to impose. This creates a barrier rather than cultivating a spirit of collaboration. I'd like the record to reflect our request to the mayor tonight that this issue be placed on the next city council agenda and that any site plan and associated fee be waived altogether or reduced to $25, and that any future fees and paperwork for utilization of goats for biologic control are applied equally to business and property owners who seek to apply herbicides. We will continue to work towards using goats for education and hope the city will continue to work with us to facilitate the same. Thank you so much.
Okay, those were the 2 public input. Next up, we have community department head reports. We're going to go to Barb Lackey is reporting on the Waupaca Rotary for the Waupaca Area Arts and Cultural Network.
Hello, everyone. I don't know all of you. Some of you are new, and I'd like to say that my name is Barbara Ladke, and I'd like to meet you, and some of the ones I already know. Thanks. Good to see you guys. Yes, tonight I'm representing the Waupaca Area Arts and Culture Network, and because this month it's Rotaries Month, and we want to give a big thank you to the city for what Henry was talking about. Last week we had the Romanian delegation come in, and the city administrators and city council, you created a friendly environment for all the visitors. We also had, I'm not sure, 10 visitors from Japan. The Matoyo City, our sister city, hosted by the Waupaca International Cultural Exchange Committee, they were at our Rotary meeting last week along with the Romanians, and It was a thing of beauty, I have to say. Thanks to the city for providing the funds to put the new sign out on our square, out by the bandstand. So we were really pleased that the Montoya citizens could come and see that we have a beautiful, up-to-date sister city sign for them. So the meeting, I don't know if you all know Joe Jones, but he led the Rotary Band, and he sang a song in Japanese, and the Romanians sang their national anthem, and it was pretty exciting. And I want to thank Josh Finch, especially, for coming and representing the city as well that morning. One more thing about internationalism is that the Rotary Club will be hosting 2 students that are arriving this week, one for the year, and one will be from Spain and one will be from Thailand, so they'll be at the high school. I know that I can speak for our community when I say how proud we are of Waupaca and the collaborations that have been created, and that fact is so much accomplished with so little friction. It's a direct effect, we think, of forward thinking by those who established the Waupaca Cultural Plan back in 2018. A special thank you to Henry Veliker, who serves as a representative between the Arts and Culture Network and the City Council. I should say Barb Nowak, too. Thank you very much. You've kept communication in order between all the entities, and Rotary is so proud to serve with these other dynamic organizations in the Waupaca area. Rotary Park has become more of a destination with the installation of the Community Arts Board's Shine Project, another cool collaboration. Along with the clock on Main Street, we feel that these additions have added beauty to our city. In January, Rotary donated $80,000 in grants to education, social safety nets, and the art school. And September 12th will be our annual Rocktoberfest at the City Square. And again, thank you for making it so easy for us. Josh Finch has been jumping in the wake that Aaron left, and he's been, by all accounts, so patient, and we've been throwing so much at him, so thank you very much. That's pretty much it. We continue to do our good work, and we thank the city so much for all the support you give us every step of the way. So, thanks.
Thank you, Barb. Anybody have any comments or questions for Barb? I'm sorry. If not, okay. Also under Community Development Head Reports, you can see Jake Waller's report in your packet. That's just for information purposes. Eric, let's start with you. Just hit the highlights and tell us what's going on in the library.
Just the highlights, sounds good. Library report starts on page 19 in your packet. Some of the highlights here, we're officially have received Jan Rademacher's retirement. Her last day will be on August 29th. She's not looking for any big parting of ways or party. She says she'll walk out if one appears. But she's been with us since 1998, has been an important part of what we do, and so I encourage you to stop by and wish her well if you get a chance. We repaired the hearing loop, did some work on the hearing loop in the meeting rooms. Ren Fair was a big hit this past month, despite the fact that we got rained out at the end. Overall, we've had a busy summer. We are wrapping up with a busy summer. We had over 10,000 visits again in July, along with 50 programs and nearly 1,000 individuals in attendance at those programs. That's my report.
Thank you, Eric. Comments, questions? All right, Juliana, Community Development.
For the month of July, we had a busy month with 29 permits issued by the Community and Economic Development team. We have also had some major updates for the River North multifamily as well as single-family subdivision. They have broken ground for the first 6 homes in the single-family subdivision earlier this month, and we are very close to issuing the first 2 permits for the 12-unit buildings planned for the multifamily development. In terms of other operations within my office, we're looking into some zoning ordinance revisions as we work to streamline our code and make sure that it is clear and understandable across the board. One of those is on the agenda for the second reading tonight, and we will have another coming up at the Plan Commission meeting in a couple weeks related to raising the maximum repair cost eligible for a waiver of a building permit application. So stay tuned for further updates in that area. Finally, we've also been working with the finance team on some updates to our pre-development agreement template to ensure that we are adequately accounting for costs associated with site plan reviews for substantial development activity within the city, to ensure that the city recoups those costs. We are adding some additional information as well to make sure that we are adequately communicating with developers interested in initiating development projects within the community. That's all from me.
Thanks, Juliana. Finance, Steph.
Thank you. My report is on page 41. We are completed with the workers' comp audit, or submitting it, I should say, and all of our monthly reports, as well as quarterly financial reporting. Working through the budget. I'm sure you guys get sick of me saying this, but it's a big, huge process. So just getting everything prepared for upcoming budget workshops, as you know. And we have our audit team here tonight to go through the 24 audit. Yeah, that's really it.
All right. Thanks, Steph. Public Works, Justin.
Thanks, Mayor. So on the sewer side, our airport sewer extension project is back and running. You can see from the picture, we got concrete pad put down. Electricians are on site. We had electrical inspection completed on Monday. So we made the call to WPS to get it energized, and then shortly behind them will be Usemco, the manufacturer lift can, to do a startup and a training. And there's a few other punch list items that we are following up on, but we're hoping that this thing is up and running online by the end of September. Elm Street has quite a bit of activity going on as of late. So we had a little bit of lull after the utility crew left. But today and yesterday we had the sewer lining crew showed up, and they relined the existing sewer mains from Wesley to Holbeck Street. Concrete crew showed up today, formed up, and we expect concrete to be on the ground tomorrow. They won't complete everything. They'll have a return and come back later. We're hoping that the first layer of asphalt goes on, crossing our fingers, next week. 217 North State Street is a development for a duplex. There was no laterals stubbed out to this parcel, so water and sewer guys teamed up with the help of a private excavator, and we stubbed out the laterals for basically 2 laterals for each sewer and water for that duplex. Fulton Street, we have an update later tonight, excuse me. So that is going in the right direction. The pedestrian bridge, we expect a geotechnical crew to be on site by the end of the week, working on the Bank First side as we get some vital information for what's underneath the soil there, so we can work on the bridge design. We've had a couple internal meetings, and we're kind of mulling through some options and honing in on basically an overall budget for that project. So,
All right. Thanks, Justin. Laura, Parks and Rec.
Thanks, Mayor. Well, we have officially transferred over to Rec Desk. We're still able to access ActiveNet, so we're pulling all the files and emails we can so that we're set to go for future references. We've been meeting with the school district to discuss MOUs and the town boards to discuss youth program funding, and the chamber to discuss volunteerism, so we've had a lot of meetings in the month of July. The rec center expansion is really making headway. They started with the business center this week, so the entire foundation is done on the blue gym section. Now they are moving over to the front side of the building, so lots and lots of groundwork is happening as we speak. Soccer Saturday and all of our summer sports ended in July, and Soccer Saturday was supposed to be on Saturday. It started and then got rained out, so they couldn't finish that, similar to Arts on the Square, unfortunately. But it was a good season. Again, 408 kids, so that was quite the monumental number to power through and get them on teams. I'm really thankful for the soccer board. We had our movie night, and I'll share more about that during my August report in September. But we did just have our registration deadline for flag football, youth volleyball, and all the adult leagues for the fall. And please mark your calendars for September 20th, which is Fall-O-Rama. Again, September 20th, Fall-O-Rama, and that is the biggest fundraiser for Friends of Waupaca Parks, 9 to 3.
Thanks, Laura. Chief Gregor.
Thank you, Mayor. My report can be found on page 48 of the packet. Happy to report we are moving along in our hiring process. As you should be all well aware, we've had a vacant position since February 1st, and we started the hiring process back in April and established an eligibility list. Looking to bring on the next person September 8th, once they go through a background investigation, psychological, medical, and drug screening. We will bring that name forward to the Police and Fire Commission once those steps have been completed for final approval. And again, September 8th, we're looking at bringing that officer on. Thankfully, they do not need the academy and have a ton of experience, over 20 years of law enforcement experience, and we're thrilled to have this person come on board relatively soon. Waupaca Rotary, we had that presentation earlier. We applied for a grant through them. Our school resource officer, Cameron Durant, spearheaded this, and we were able to come up with $2,500 for the Stop the Bleed program. This program is offered by the American College of Surgeons that provides specific equipment and that helps control and stop bleeding for active shooter events that hopefully never occur in our schools. But each school will be outfitted with that kit, along with training will be provided to the staff of those schools moving forward. We were also able to provide a kit to the Waupaca Christian Academy as well. So thank you to Waupaca Rotary for their continued support. September 7th, our Waupaca Police Department Community Engagement Committee is holding a fundraising event. It's a trap shooting event that supports all of our community events that we're involved in, our scholarship program, the Torch Run for Special Olympics, and our Halloween on Main event. Registration is from 10 to 2, and the cost is $30 per shooter. We encourage anyone that wants to partake of that event to please attend. We're getting a ton of support from the community as we look to fundraise for all our community events. One last thing, we did apply for the safety grant through the city's insurance, League Insurance. It's an annual grant that we're able to apply for. We are looking to outfit our SWAT officers with adequate hearing protection. We currently do not have the correct protection for them if they are called out, and that grant is for approximately $2,500. The hearing protection will allow them to integrate the radio communication, integrates with their current helmets, and allow them to communicate with the team when they're on an assignment, and we're hoping to be awarded that grant moving forward. That is all I have.
All right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Josh, IT.
You've probably heard me talk about a couple times, landline phone service from AT&T will be ending at some point in the near future. So it took 10 months to get Spectrum to move all those phone lines over. That was complete last Monday. So we're in a spot where we're not depending on those landlines anymore. Back in May, we switched to FirstNet for our city cellular service, and one of the things that took a little bit of time to get implemented, we had to get on board with them first, is they do have a program on data devices, so mainly the modems and the squad cars. If they have low or no utilization, we can get a discounted rate instead of paying the unlimited rate for the full month. So sometimes we have squad cars that are underutilized, or the school cop vehicles during the school year may not get a lot of use on the road, or the captain's squad may not get a lot of use. So if there's minimal use or no use, instead of paying the $34 a month, we'll only pay $10 a month on those. So I do a little finagling to get that all done. I had a resignation in my department, and that left a vacancy with Waupaca Online and a little bit of the community media and marketing duties. That's a tricky position to fill because it's only part-time, and it's hard to find people that prefer to only work part-time. And actually I had 2 pretty qualified-looking applications come in today, which is kind of surprising. Our soft deadline is kind of this Friday, and then Ralph and I will start reviewing what we have, and if we like what we see, we'll get those individuals in for interviews and see where it goes. And if we don't find what we're looking for, or if we're not able to reach an agreement with someone, then we'll keep the position open until the right candidate comes along. And then in process of adding a couple doors at the airport to the city's key card access system. Those are my updates.
Thanks, Josh. Barb?
Thank you, Mayor. My report can be found on page 52. Nothing out of the ordinary. I did meet with Eric from the Appleton Weights and Measures, or Appleton Health Department, for the annual Weights and Measures meeting back in July. And he said that the days will stay the same at 25 for the year, and the amount billed will stay the same as last year. They will continue to invoice from their office, as that worked really good last year. They had a few people call with questions, but they were able to just talk directly to them instead of going through our office and us forwarding them to them. He did say that they're proposing an increase for the fees for petroleum pumps across the program. So I'll be bringing an ordinance next month to get that increase. I believe it's $10 per petroleum pump. And that's across the consortium. So they're updating that. That's about it.
All right. Thanks, Barb. Josh?
Thank you, Mayor. My report can be found on page 53. As I've finished now my second month going into the third, it's really incredible to see all of the great things that are going on and getting to know the folks here in this community. Obviously, there's been a lot of conversation regarding budget. And while it's my first time doing the budget here in Waupaca, not the first time overall, but I'm very, very impressed with everything that is going on. Major shout out to Stephanie. It's a very thorough process, and I think we're very fortunate to have the setup that we do have here. Another thing, obviously, was, as Henry had mentioned earlier, and Barb, of course, regarding the international engagement, being able to spend time with the Romanian delegation was different, but in a good way. I mean, it was very cool to be able to have that interaction with folks from another country and being able to have the conversations about local government and the impact that they have, et cetera, and building those relations, as well as spending time with the folks with the sister city of Matoya, Japan. So a very cool overall experience that I'm proud to be able to be part of. So a lot of things ongoing, and I think that there's a lot of great things to be proud of here in Waupaca. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thanks, Josh. All right, let's move on then to unfinished business. This is ordinance number 03-2025, and it's an ordinance amending Chapter 17 of the City of Waupaca zoning ordinance, and this is the second reading. So, Juliana, you want to just go through that again? It starts on page 100 of your packet.
Yes. This is a revision to the list of permitted districts that would allow for a two-family dwelling, a duplex, to be built. Our current zoning ordinance allows for duplexes to be in the agricultural district, some of the business districts, and industrial districts, as well as the single-family district. To make this consistent with the intention of the zoning districts, as well as with the intended uses per our comprehensive plan and the future land use map, we propose to reduce the districts where two-family dwellings are permitted to be the R2 and R3 districts, which allow for moderate and high-density residential dwellings. And if there is interest in a property that is zoned otherwise, we would then suggest that the property owner would rezone to allow for that use.
Okay. Thanks, Juliana. All right, this is the second reading, so we have not had anybody talk or send any information in from the public on this notice, so we would be looking for a motion to approve ordinance number 03-25. Anybody want to make a motion to approve?
A motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Veliker. Second. Second by Nagel, that we approve ordinance number 03-25.
Thank you.
Any discussion? If not, Barbara, call the roll.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Scott Percheski.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you, Juliana. Next up, new business. This is a presentation of the 2024 audit report. And Steph, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. As I had mentioned earlier, we have Jay and Michaela here from Johnson Black that are going to go through the audit presentation for the year 24. And I'll just kind of kick it right off to them.
Thanks, Stephanie. As she said, my name is Michaela. I am an audit supervisor with Johnson Block and the lead on your audit. With me is Jay Bennett. He is the partner for the city's audit. So we completed the city's audit. Year ended December 31st, 2024. We issued an unmodified opinion on the financials, which is the best opinion you guys can get on a financial statement. Our report was issued as of May 20th, which was about 2 months sooner than the year before. So thanks to Stephanie and her team for helping us get that issued earlier this year. We also issued an audit communications directly to you guys, and I'll cover some of our recommendations in that report a little bit later. Some other reports that we helped the city prepare. The water utility is required to submit an annual PSC report, so that got submitted earlier this year, along with the annual TIF district report. Stephanie this year completed the Wisconsin DOR annual Form C report herself with a little bit of review from us. So thanks, Stephanie, on that. On the next page here, we've got some financial highlights from the year. Overall, the city reported a decrease in fund balance of about $418,000. To jump into some of the individual funds, your general fund increased about $721,000, which was a good increase there. Debt service decreased about $172,000. Capital improvements decreased almost $1.6 million. This is spending down on your projects during the year. TIF district number 4 increased about $633,000. And then your other governmental funds increased $19,000. So that is on page 72 of the report if you'd like to see the individual other governmental funds. So your transit fund is kind of included in that number, which decreased about $117,000 for the year. General fund overall reported favorable variances compared to the budget, so which is on page 63 of the report if you're following along there. Your total revenues exceeded your budgeted revenues by $993,000, and your actual total expenses were lower than your budgeted by about $260,000. Your water utility increased in that position about $158,000 for the year. Sewer also increased about $254,000, and your telecommunications also increased about $60,000 in 2024. So good years for all three of those.
That's basically a net income.
Yeah, so they had more revenue than expenses for the year. Your water utility completed a 3% increase of rates through a simplified rate case as of February 1st, 2025, which I'll kind of touch on again when we dig into the revenue for the water. So just a trend in your general fund balance. So for 2024, you have a total of almost $3.1 million there, which has increased kind of steadily over the last 5 years. You can kind of see that trend there. The city has a fund balance policy to maintain this general fund balance between 20 and 25% of your fund budget. So as you're sitting for 2024, you're sitting at about 36%, which is higher than your policy requires.
A couple of years ago, it was pretty much right at the 25%, 24.7% 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now. It's a good trend upward in meeting that policy.
Kind of digging into your general fund revenues for 2024, you had just over $8 million in revenues there. The biggest chunk of this is coming from your taxes, which is exactly kind of what you would expect for a municipality, which was about $4.2 million. Your next biggest section was your intergovernmental revenues, so this is your state and federal aid. This increase between years main kind of culprit for that was you got increased shared revenue. This was about $231,000. You also got more general transportation aid. This was about $47,000. And then you guys also spent down your ARPA grant, or a good chunk of it, of $48,000 in 2024. Some other revenue highlights: your building permits revenue increased about $118,000 between the 2 years, and you guys also got an additional $92,000 in interest income in 2024. We'll kind of take a look at your expenses now. You guys had about just under 5.7 million in total expenditures. Public safety is kind of the largest portion there at 43% of your expenditures, with general government and public works following at 22% and 20%. Your total general fund expenditures have increased about 446,000 or 8.5% over the last couple years.
Pretty close to what inflation. Spending hasn't gone up much.
Kind of jumping into the water utility now. So as kind of mentioned, you guys had an increase this year, so your net operating income was about 237,000. But your kind of rate of return there is at 1.53%, which is kind of low, but you guys did a 3% increased rates here in February, so that should hopefully help. But something to kind of keep an eye on. I believe your last full rate case was in '08, so it's been a good chunk of years. So for a little background, your simplified rate case kind of helps keep up with inflation of costs, but a full rate case would be higher than inflation if needed. I believe they're authorizing at about 6.2% of increased rates as of
Rate
current.
of return.
Yeah.
Currently, you guys are quite a bit below that 1.5 the last few years, probably.
So yeah, something to think about there. Jumping into sewer utility, net operating income about 216,000, with a good healthy cash flow of about $775,000. I believe you guys last increased rates maybe 2014, so been a little bit since then too. Always good to kind of evaluate that each year, but your cash balance is looking pretty good. You guys also issued a loan here for the sewer utility, about 1.6 million in 2024. Help with some projects here and there. Telecommunications utility had a good year as well. They had a net operating income of about 60,000, and you can kind of see that trending upward the last couple years there. Looking into some of your long-term obligations here. This is a kind of a snippet from our audit report, page 40, if you would like to look at the full note there. You got just over 18 million in long-term obligations, or your bonds and debt notes there. Other long-term obligations you'll see is compensated absences. GASB, the board there, decided you had to implement a new standard there, so we helped Stephanie and her team implement GASB 101, which is kind of why that's gone up quite a bit this year. You can see that in both the governmental and business type. So there's that. Your general obligation debt limitation is about 32 million, and your debt subjected to this limitation is just under 15 million, which is 5% of your equalized value. So you have 54% debt capacity as of right now. Taking a look at your TIF districts. So the table is kind of a snippet of your total funds cumulative as of December 31st, 2024. The changes for 2024 specifically, TID 4 had a good year. They increased about 633,000. TID 11 increased about 38,000, and TID 12 decreased just about $500 there. TID 8 and TID 10 were operating at a loss and were received a donation, a donor from TIF 4. So TIF 4 is kind of supplementing those other two TIFs right now.
Looks like in the projection, TIF 4 is again, is doing very well. It's a donor to those other two TIF districts. Will be at some point in the future, we'll have to look at potentially, the city will have to look at when they want to close it, potentially before maybe the end of the TIF, because I think we'll have enough money generated to fully fund probably TIF 8 as well. I think it has another 10 or 12 years or something like that. The levy on it's about, or the increment's about 800,000 a year, if I remember right.
And then we'll kind of circle back to that other report I mentioned earlier, our audit communications to you guys. This kind of contains just our internal control, communication, and other considerations. One of those items is any findings that we've had. We have just the one material audit adjustments. As part of our audit, we propose and got approval from Stephanie and her team for some additional entries that need to be made to help with your financial statement preparation. And Stephanie and her team have been working to get those down, so that is also good. Some of our recommendations to you, specifically your uncollateralized cash deposits. So you guys get so much money in FDIC insurance and have collateral to cover deposits in the bank. You've got about $154,000 not covered by either of those, or the state guarantee fund, which has $1 million in there for everybody as long as there's funds available if the time would come. It's always something to kind of keep an eye on there. And then we recommend kind of improving cybersecurity trainings, reviewing insurance annually to make sure you guys are covered in case anything would happen there.
I think governments are like the second most targeted entity for cybersecurity, ransomware, those types of things. So I know you guys have done some training and looked at insurance, but it only takes one person clicking on a fictitious email to get something going. So again, it's something everybody needs to take seriously. You see it in the news all the time now, unfortunately.
And just wanted to extend a thanks to Stephanie, Kate, Shelley, Barb, and Aaron, and all the other personnel at the city here that helped us complete the audit. Everyone was cooperative and got us everything we needed.
Thanks, Michaela and Jay. Anybody have any questions? Henry, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, guys. The TIF 4 funds was up about $633,000. Is this because of the increased, it's probably a combination, increased value and increased tax rate, or are we seeing some new projects in there? I'll be honest, I have not. We getting some new houses. Is there any more development that's
I don't know
justifying?
about the development anymore for sure, but yeah, it's been profitable. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, Henry, to kind of see what the change is in the overall increment between years. But I think in 2024 it was like 43,000.
Okay.
2025, I think it's going to be a little bit over 800,000, so it's gone up. And that can also be a product because how the TIFs, how the property taxes are calculated. City is a portion of it, but it also is the county, the school.
Just I think overall our tax rates were up. Okay, so that
Henry, there was some development in TIF 4. We were just talking about that. Barb Young had done a number of projects in TIF 4 there too. So,
well, that's good then. That's right.
Yeah.
We're getting actual,
Yep.
still getting development in that TIF. That's awesome.
Again, how the TIFs work is any new development, any property taxes generated there, it all comes to the city, 100% of it.
Can you explain unassigned versus non-spendable?
Sure. Yep. So unassigned is fund balance is probably like your reserves, extra. It has not been spoken for. Non-spendable fund balance is for items that are going to be spent yet. So allocated out, there was a GASB statement 54 that came out a number of years ago. So non-spendable fund balance is usually things that you've already had and paid for, like prepaid insurance or some prepaid advances between funds. Then two, classify as non-spendable fund balance because one, they'll either be captured as an expense the following year, or two, advances aren't always paid back. So they split that out. There's also restricted fund balance and assigned fund balance as well.
Yeah, those are confusing.
It's a different terminology. So you kind of look at unassigned fund balance as what you have for spendable.
Okay. And then my last question is, we've seen some great interest revenue. I don't know, it's going to be hard to predict in the future for sure, but do you have any thoughts one way or the other on that, just as a professional?
I do subscribe to some financial magazines and those types of things. They are predicting potentially like an 83% chance of a reduction in rates in September, being probably 25 basis points or a quarter of a percent. If the economy kind of continues to go down, they will be cutting rates probably. So, but yeah, the interest rates, they were so low for so long. Now they come up and you're seeing municipalities earn some money finally on their deposits. It's a good thing, but it can go away depending on the economy and the Feds setting the rates.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I have just one question here. Let me get to it. Okay, so under our utilities, our enterprise funds, this is actually on page 7 of your packet. It says days that we have, that days cash on hand, which I'm assuming means we can cover expenses for, like 2024 would be 220 days. And you do that for the water, the sewer, and the telecommunication fund?
Yep.
Do we do that for the general fund too?
We don't calculate that usually for a general fund amount, but
Okay, so going back to the utilities, is there a norm?
again, usually you want to have some good operating cash on hand. One of the things I think the sewer department's higher is because of the loan that they issued in 2024. So you went from like 3.1 up to 3.8 million there. So they are sitting good cash-wise, all the utilities. But there isn't, I don't think, a rule of thumb for it specifically. It's just an idea to give you like how many days out would we be able to do operations without revenue. It's kind of that calculation. So they're both healthy. The sewer has a big number there. The water's at 220. Again, it went down a little bit. You can kind of see that trend a little bit in the sewer. Net income's kind of stayed the same, but the cash has come down in the last 5 years from that page.
Great.
TIF 8 does owe the utilities a fair amount of money. And when TIF 4 closes and pay that over, there'll be money going back to the utilities too. Should be able to. Not 100%. Never know what the future holds, but the way it looks like it will be.
That's great. If we're able to do that.
Yeah.
And we do have some improvements going on in TIF 8 right now, too, that will add to that. So that should help. Yeah. Should help the levy. Anybody else? Any comments? Well, thank you, Michaela. Jay, thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Stephanie, thank you.
You guys?
Yeah, have a great night.
Yep, have a good night, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Safe travels, huh?
Yeah, we'll do
A little bit of a ride. Mineral Point.
Well, maybe we should. Let's, we received this annual budget, so let's do a motion that we accept the audit and place it on file. Anybody want to make that motion?
Move to accept.
Second.
Motion by Mayo. Second Second by Prochaski that we accept the 2024 audit and place it on file. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, no. Motion carries. All right, we are Fulton Street update and alternatives reviews. Justin.
Thanks, Mayor. So this starts on 105 of the packet. So Fulton Street is like one of our another big downtown projects or connection to downtown. In here, there's a lot of information on the project. First of all, we had a budget that was set in 2024, and if you looked at the numbers closely, they're not 100% accurate. The funding that we received through the LRIP program was different than what we planned for, so we'll be tweaking that, and that'll be updated and shown through this upcoming budget season. But with this being scheduled for construction in a couple years, we're in the early design phases. We hired Strand and Associates in February to help us out with that, and so we're in the early stages with that. And we had a public information meeting and provided a number of alternatives and allowed the public to voice their opinion. So that meeting was on July 31st here in the library meeting rooms. About 14 people attended, mostly from the residential area of Fulton Street. A couple city staff and members from Strand were also there. And we presented the alternatives to the public. What we got back from comments was, one, the speeds on Fulton Street are high. Two, the outside lane on Fulton Street is way too narrow. And three, driveway slopes are pretty steep, so getting out of driveways is a bugger. Stop it. So as we look at these four alternatives, they're shown within, there's a lot of information, and I'll try and keep it concise, but the first alternative, which really isn't shown, is basically putting Fulton Street back at a 4-lane configuration. Now, the issue with that is the outside lanes are not wide enough to state standards, so we'd have to widen the overall road. So what we feel there, if we went back to a 4-lane, higher speeds, because wider streets equal more comfortable drivers driving faster, steeper driveways, and less, I guess, terrace width. So all those kind of concerns that were there before, we think would be even more apparent with going back to the same configuration. Alternative 2 is what is called a twiddle, or a 3-lane configuration. So twiddle is just a short word for saying through. Wait, a sec. I didn't write it down. Oh, myself. Huh? Traffic, yeah, left turn. It's basically a dedicated center left turn lane. We have that configuration on Fulton Street further to the west. It's also on Q, so it's in the area, and people we feel are accustomed to it. This configuration would allow basically average counts of up to 15,000 or more cars per day. Right now, we're kind of hovering in that 6,000 to 10,000, so it would allow for future expansion. We anticipate a lot of left turns because there's a lot of driveways. There's a big left turn going up Harrison Street or Highway 49. It would give us a little wider terrace, which would help with kind of the issues with the driveway access. The third alternative is to provide a center median, and that's in there somewhere, but basically you would drive on either side of the street. There'd be a grass median with trees down the middle. That's a very attractive type of alternative. It would have a little bit more cost because we would have curb and gutter basically 4 times on a street instead of just on the outside. So pros and cons there, and then the left turns into driveways would be restricted significantly. And then finally, the fourth alternative was just straight up 2 lanes right down the middle, which would produce something with a very wide terrace, so very aesthetically pleasing. Slopes off to the side would be basically a non-issue, but kind of the hinge point on the fourth alternative would be just total traffic flow. So that type of configuration we'd pretty much be at the max right now with just a 2 lane. So I guess all in all, we're looking at going with alternative 2. If I can find the page for you here, Josh, to help. Basically, that one graphic you showed is showing like what it would look like if you're standing on the street. The top-down version is starting on page 120, which is a big roll plot, so you can, doesn't show up the greatest, but you can kind of see how it's laid out. That's 49, that's Hardy's on the very west end. If you could go downtown, Josh, please. So we'd have left turn lanes dedicated at the side streets, but then also allow the left turns into the driveways, much like it is at like Culver's and Aldi's. And then as we get to the downtown area, say Division Street, we transition into our downtown streetscaping, so matching Main Street for those 2 blocks with the bump outs, the extra wide sidewalks. We're going to be able to add a little bit of parking there and restrict a couple driveways. And then finally, we've identified in our downtown plan and long-term plan was a potential for a gateway or a monument right at the corner of Division and Fulton Street there. We haven't made a decision on that monument. That's in the future. It probably would require somebody more creative than just public works guys. But that is kind of still in the fold. But this is the option that is being recommended to move forward with. If you could just scroll down a little bit, Josh. So if you could, and then go to the west, please. So this shows that grass median. Again, a very attractive way to build a street, but you can see the driveways with their restrictions with access. They'd have to plan their routes and make right turns in and out of their driveways. And then west of Highway 49 does not change. We're not doing any utility work, so we're just rehabbing the pavement there and then restriping, so a cost-effective way to rebuild the road. And the reason for that is the state has indicated they're going to reconstruct Highway 49 in this segment from Western Avenue up to North Street, and that's planned for 2034. So with our construction, that's about 10, 15 years away. We just need a cost-effective way to make it, to bridge that gap, that 10 to 15 years. If you could scroll down a little bit further, Josh, thank you. So again, you can see that same configuration. This is alternate 4, head east with just a 2-lane and much wider terraces, which is nice to look at, easy to drive through, but just 2 lanes where long-term have some concerns with traffic flow supporting on this route. So, and again, the downtown streetscaping showing up again. So, so basically, what I'm looking for is council to basically adopt the findings and the recommendation from Strand and continue our design using alternate 2. And then, of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, want to chime in on the project, this is kind of like a project update at the same time. And one final note, there will be an actual formal presentation from Strand at like a halfway mark of this project here at council, and then just before bid set, we also plan on going to Plan Commission. Very similarly, kind of that, looking at the zoning, how that traffic flows, and then the aesthetics.
Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
Anybody have any comments or questions for Justin right now? All right. Yeah,
I will
Henry, go
when
ahead.
there's a moment.
Oh, go ahead, Colin.
Justin, on the intersection of Harrison and Fulton, there appears to be an island on the Harrison side.
Yep.
Is that already existing?
It is.
Yeah, all right. Then I don't have a question. Thanks.
The pork chop?
The Pork Chop Island is for southbound traffic on 49 heading west. Right turn only.
There's no, I guess I do have a little bit. There's no requirement to change that when we change the lanes relative to the where the turn lane is going to be for larger vehicles, semis, etc.
No, because the turning movements from east to north have already been accommodated, so that shouldn't be in conflict. So that island can stay as is.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Henry.
Well, we just rely so much on the staff on these kind of things and our consultants. And again, you're recommending option 2, and you feel strongly that this is a good option for us.
Correct.
Yes.
Is that a question?
I'm not finding the words today. Probably didn't get enough sleep last night. But anyways, yeah, I just find it so hard for us for me anyways, to really critique. Other than I know that one lane coming down the hill, the inside one, is a tough one in the wintertime. And so I was kind of hoping for this option. So for me, just on a simple level, this was something I thought, at least from my limited knowledge, could work for us. So I'm pleased to see that it's this. And you're picking up some width on the terrace, so that's all good, right? So, yeah. I don't know, Mayor, I didn't really ask a question, did I?
No, you
I'm
didn't.
sorry about that.
No, that's okay. You know, I had the opportunity to weigh in on this too, and I mean, probably the smartest option is this option with the twiddle in the middle. It uninterrupts traffic the best. Personally, I like it. I have to tell you, my personal opinion would be a little different than this, but this does make the most sense for traffic purposes. So, yeah. Yeah, go
And
ahead.
I'll probably be in the grave, but one day there's going to be, professional offices up there. There's probably going to be less residential, and I think this can facilitate that transition in use up that hill over time.
Yep.
As our downtown is extending up a little bit, right, with this project, it's going to feel a little different once you go up a couple blocks with the streetscapes.
So Henry, we're going to bring this to Plan Commission, so you'll have another kick at the cat at that time.
Thank you. Not the can, the cat.
Oh, can.
That's your statement. And he's
I
just
know,
using
I
it.
know.
You copyrighted that statement.
He have trained me.
I don't like cats.
So along with this project, which I think, we are just looking at the roads really, but, we are gonna be putting in new sewer and water lines that go down there. Hopefully, we're gonna be burying the power lines. And if you're driving up Fulton Street or down Fulton Street, there's a lot of wires there, so it will look aesthetically a lot better. More trees because the side grassy area between the sidewalk and the road will be wider than what it is now. So you'll see a lot. So it's going to be a lot more aesthetically pleasing, and it's still going to give you what most people are probably doing already is just using it as a 3-lane operation. So, Corey, did you have something?
Yeah. So Washington Street trying to cross Fulton can be a challenge, especially if you're going north.
Yep.
If we're going to add more parking on both sides,
Correct.
to me, that makes that even more difficult. So is that going to turn into like a one-way street? I mean, that street, it feels very unsafe to cross to try to head north on that street.
That's been a feel or sentiment, data-backed thing for quite a long time. So we're cognizant of that. The bump outs allow you to, I guess, stage there with a vehicle, and so Main Street's a good example of that. Before the bump outs, it was wide pavement, 40-foot wide in other direction. Put the bump outs in, and then the pavement at those intersections reduced down, reducing speeds, and then also allowing you, when you stop and look, you can pull up ahead and get even a better view. We want to add parking downtown. That's a priority. But yes, we did Main Street. We had success with that. There are some spots on Main when you try to cross the flower pots, the parking. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. And I expect that intersection to be much improved, but still allow the traffic to flow, allow the fire trucks to get through, because that's one of their main routes. So.
We, at times, we've discussed making that a 4-way stop, the road that he's just talking about.
Yeah.
That's not something we're talking about right now.
Not at the time. The concern would be, the preferred travel route of Badger to Maine to Fulton, and if they have to stop on Washington or on Fulton at Washington, is that going to start backing up? We already do have quite a bit of traffic on Main. Lunch hour is pretty congested, so we have to be careful of that. But it's it's duly noted somewhere along the segment, maybe, but if you're aware of King Road, they did that in the middle of that road, and I guess it was not very well received, so.
Okay.
Everything's on the table right now, with the exception of, in order to be efficient with our progress, we'd like, I guess, approval or adoption of this type of configuration so we can start building the road out and the utilities underneath.
Are you looking for that for approval tonight?
Similar to the financial is just to adopt the recommendations from Strand and continue the design with the basis of alternate 2 being like the preferred.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Sorry. That is on the agenda. So if you're comfortable with that design 2, or alternate 2, I guess is what Justin's calling it, I guess he's looking for approval to move forward with that.
Move to approve and move forward with design option 2.
Motion by Martin.
Second.
Second by Peterson, that we approve the recommendation of Strand and Associates and continued design on the basis of alternate 2 for Fulton Street reconstruction project. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I had one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you? Justin, is the elevation across the twiddle going to be, I don't know how to say it the best way, but is there no elevation change, such as maybe you're familiar with Stevens Point, their twiddle on that main area, you kind of go up and over. Is this, it looks in your picture that it's completely flat, or I shouldn't say flat, it's the same sort of grade all the way across?
Yeah, correct. So you're probably referring to like a median or like a curb on either side where it's a somewhat of a bump and then maybe a raised kind of dome. That is not what we're proposing. Is not that. This is going to be high point in the middle and a 2% slope going out in either direction. So as you cross the line, you won't feel an extra bump.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, anybody else? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against,
Aye.
say no. Motion carried. All right, let's go to resolution number 1579. This is a preliminary resolution declaring intent to levy special assessment under municipal police power pursuant to subsection 66.702 of the state statutes. Justin.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is on 131. This is the preliminary resolution. So as I mentioned before in the public hearing, these are estimated amounts to be specially assessed to 2 parcels in the city on Bailey Street. Both parcels are currently not served by sewer, and the purpose of the special assessment is to help pay for the sewer extension to those properties and give them access to sewer service. Attached to that is our report and then also the plan, which again was noted in the public hearing, but it's good to look at that and get familiar with it. It's a small 100-foot extension with a new manhole and then stubbing out the new sewer laterals for those 2 properties. One thing that is or should be noted is we are putting in a stub to the south going up Bailey Street. So in the future, as you can see, there's a couple more parcels of land that are vacant. That allows for that future extension, and then again we'd be back here talking about potential special assessments for those properties. But so we will plan on getting the work done pretty soon here. We'd like to have it wrapped up before the end of September. Once it is all complete and we get actual numbers, I'll come back with a final resolution, 1580, and then those estimated property owner or the cost for the owners would be pinned down to an actual, and then work on a final resolution.
Okay. So Justin's looking for approval of resolution number 1579. Anybody?
I make a motion to approve resolution 1589?
79.
79, thank you.
Yep. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Veliker. Are you guys all watching the Brewer game or listening to what's going on here? Motion by Veliker, second by Perchatsky, that we approve resolution number 1579. Discussion? If not, Barb will call the roll.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Eric Olson.
Oh, he's out here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
All right, thank you. We're going to take one more and then we're going to take a break, okay? This will be I think the final for Justin. So this is the Bovee lift station design, lift station and backup generator procurement.
Yes.
Justin?
Yes, one more time. Thanks, Mayor. Starting on 137. So this is part of our Bowlby Lift Station project, which is our significant project next year in the sewer department. It's replacing the Bowlby Lift Station, but then also with it utilities underneath Bailey Street. And what we have done here with the whole part of the project is carved out just a prepackaged lift station and backup generator. The reason we're doing this, the main reason is the long lead times for these two pieces of equipment. We're looking at 12 to 18 months. We want to get an order in soon so we can have those pieces of equipment show up next summer when the project is under construction. The other good benefit of it is if this would go to a bid, contractor would have a slight markup on it. We'd be paying extra for that. So city staff is kind of taking on a little extra burden with the time and trying to coordinate this, but we should get a slightly better pricing. And then obviously as far as scheduling, it works out in the whole of the project. So with the help of McMahon Associates, we put together a bid spec for these two separate pieces of equipment. Those were advertised in late July into August. Bid opening was August 7th at 2 p.m. We received 2 bids for the lift station and 1 sealed bid for the backup generator. That is summarized on attached bid tab from McMahon. Within the holistic of the entire project, the budget is set at just over $2.3 million. We earmarked $780 for just the lift station and $63,000 for the backup generator. If you look at the bid tab, you can see that it's on page 141. If you could please, Josh. The lift station of the two, the lowest one is slightly over. However, the backup generator is well underneath. So when we combine these two together, we're still underneath the earmarked budget by about $1,700. Both of these bids, we asked for an alternate bid, which we were looking for extension of the standard warranty from a 1 year to basically a 3 year for the lift station, and then a 5 year for the backup generator. The numbers for that came in with the lift station we thought was a little high, 34,000-ish, and then the backup generator at 1,250. So right now, what we're recommending is approval of the procurement of the lift station without that alternate bid. We're going to continue to analyze that. We do not have to put that in the agreement until the lift station is in ground and powered on. So we're going to wait till we have the entire project bid out there, see those numbers, and see if it makes sense to add that later. The backup generator one, since that is under that earmarked budget, we're looking for that to be added on right away. We've had some issues with our backup generator at Covered Bridge Lift Station, where that $1,250 basically pays, if we have to call in for a service call from one of these reps, it's about $1,000 just for them to show up and run diagnostics. That backup generator at that lift station, we've had to do that at least 5-6 times, and we've had some other work done. So for that one, it has already paid for itself tenfold. This was reviewed and discussed at Water and Sewer earlier today, and basically they made the recommendation to council to approve this as well. So there is basically 2 actions on here because it's 2 separate contracts. The first one is to Smith & Loveless, which is the manufacturer of the prepackaged lift station. That wording is on there on the memo at number 1. Number 2 is the 100 kilowatt gas engine driven generator set and transfer switch from Walter. They're out of Brookfield for an amount not to exceed $52,306, which includes the extended warranty. So all that funding is from the sewer utility revenue bonds, which is that 2-year borrow that falls underneath Bowlby's replacement project.
Okay, so as Justin said, there are 2 motions that we need to take care of here. The first one is for the Bowlby lift station design. So does this include the cost of all the materials to the 788? Is that right?
It is for just it's a pre-built lift station made at the factory and then delivered here.
Okay, so it's the total package.
Correct.
Okay, so we would need a motion to approve that with Smith and Lovelace for an amount not to exceed $788,928.
I move to approve the contract with Smith and Lovelace, not to exceed $788,928, not including the alternate bid.
Okay, we have a motion by Hagan,
Second.
second by Prochatsky. Any discussion? Barbara, call the roll.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Scott Prochatsky.
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
All right, and the second part of this was to approve the purchase and delivery of a 100 kilowatt gas engine driven generator set and transfer switch from Walter Incorporated of Brooklyn, Wisconsin for an amount not to exceed $52,306. And both of these, of course, are coming out of the utility revenue bonds borrow. We'd need a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Peterson,
Second.
second by Nagel. Any discussion?
I got a question on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see highlighted a tariff notice. We're motioning to not exceed a certain number, and they're saying they're going to bill something in addition to the pricing. Do we have to put do we have to note that somewhere, or are they out of luck?
You want me to comment on that?
Yeah.
Oh, so the tariff notice is, with the given markets, there is some uncertainty if materials will increase. And if it does, they want to be made whole. So they're not guaranteeing an increase, but they can't guarantee the price as is. So it's up to the council if you want me just to report that at a later date, if something happens, or come back for additional approval. I'm open to that, but at this point, this is our bid. We should award the bid at that number. And if you want to put an additional wrinkle on it, I'm open to that, if that's the correct wording.
So I think what you're saying is this bid is the bid, and if there's an additional tariff cost, you'll report that later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Somebody else had comment too, didn't they? Yeah, Eric.
Just for clarification, I've heard it a couple times on now a gas generator, so I'm assuming it's natural gas, not gas.
Correct. I should have specified that, yes.
And what is the lead time, you think, on this?
They're in the range of 12 to 18 months.
For the generator?
As well, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
The indication early on was the generator may be closer to 18, and the lift station may be closer to 12, so.
Can't wait to see that building coming into town. We'll have to get pictures, Justin. Any other discussion? Barb will call the roll.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky.
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Justin. We're gonna sit in recess for about 5 minutes here, so get up and stretch your legs. Okay, we're back in session. It's 7:48. We have, oh, and I didn't get a chance to ask you, Paul, but Josh is ready if you're not familiar with this, but oh, you did? Okay, so let's start with the sale of the Red Door hangar and the assignment of the lease from KLMR International LLC to DSBS Incorporated. This is out at the airport. So who's doing it? Paul?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, no problem. As the description says on page 196 of your packet, this is the purchase of Red Door hangar. And the lease is a 50-year lease, and the new individual is requesting transfer of that. The buyer is DSBS LLC, which on the letter near the bottom you'll see is Donovan Lane. And basically it's just similar to a liquor license transfer almost, and it's just a transfer of the lease, so.
Okay.
So I'd make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Hagan, second by Veliker, that we approve of the sale of the Red Door hangar and assignment of lease from KLMR International LLC to DSBS Incorporated.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Barbara, call the roll.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Paul Hagan.
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
All right. Next on the agenda is lot hangar number 22. That's a 30-year lease, and that is, I lost my place here. Okay,
218.
thank you.
Yep.
And that is Robert Wubin. This is a new lease, and I believe it's for the construction of a new hangar. So, and that is from August of this year to August of 2055. And I'd make that in the form of a motion.
All right, so we have a motion by Hagan. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Veliker, that we approve the lot lease, hangar number lease to a new building that's been built out there to Robert Wubin. Any discussion? If not, Barbara, call the roll.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky, Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan.
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, and
That was the extent of my
Okay.
obligations.
do you want to talk about the red hangar? We're not ready to? Okay, sorry. Zipper?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. There's some exciting news coming.
That's great.
That will make everybody. Sorry about that. I didn't know that because I heard it
There was a
today.
reason I didn't mention it, Brian.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you, we had a department head meeting this morning, and it was reported to us, so I thought it was out in the open, so I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, council. All right, so number 7, authorization to post and hire a deputy clerk position. This is actually 2 positions here, so I want you to make sure you understand. These are actually two motions here, even though you see them grouped together. This is an authorization to post and hire a deputy clerk, and it's also authorization to post and hire an assistant planner. Okay, and this is to Josh.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so as you can kind of see in the memo, on behalf of the Community and Economic Development Department and the Clerk's Department, I am requesting authorization to move forward with posting and hiring 2 positions. I do want to acknowledge that this request is not something that we would normally bring forward outside of the regular budget cycle. But given the savings that we've seen this year, plus the workload and everything else that has been going on, we do have a unique opportunity to begin part of that process now or yet at some point during this fall. By moving forward this fall, we can facilitate a stronger onboarding process and ensure a smoother transition going into 2026 for both the deputy clerk and the assistant planner. Because I'm sure the question is money, right? That's always a lot about where it's at. For 2025, there has been a fair amount of savings within both departments. As everyone should be aware, there is a part-time deputy clerk position. Over the last 2.5 years, Barb, there have been attempts to have a part-time hire. Unfortunately, that just doesn't necessarily always seem to pan out because, again, it is difficult to sustain in a part-time fashion. Barb has done a terrific job training up 2 individuals, but again, of course, within the confines of part-time, they do tend to go elsewhere. So based on that conversation, plus the overall workload within the front office, there is a request to be able to move forward with a full-time position for 2025, as well as for moving forward into 2026. Regarding that position, there is approximately currently about $37,000 budgeted for that position in 2025. We do have the ability to pay for that position through our already budgeted line for this, as we have only used approximately $7,000 for year to date. The anticipated cost, depending on the hiring time frame for this individual, would be approximately $20,000 to $25,000, depending on insurance, depending on a lot of variables. So still well within the range of the allowable expenses for that position for 2025. For 2026, there would be an increase of approximately about $43,000, approximately $44,000. But it is important to note that that is being split up not just amongst general, but there are various funds that position does have a hand in as well. So, does anybody have any questions regarding that position? I figured it'd be easier to do one at a time.
Do you want to take them individually,
Well,
Mayor?
yeah, I think it's probably smart, Henry, to do that. Yeah.
So Josh, you talked about for 2.5 years. My memory was that we had a full-time deputy clerk, but we moved to part-time to fund something. Can you refresh our minds what that was, please?
Yes, that was to help, if I recall, obviously this is prior to my tenure, but to help with the grant writer Greg, his position, which has been obviously a tremendous asset for us.
So where my thinking is going is we probably were in a position during the budget to try to find the money for the grant writer position, and this was an area where we thought we could maybe cut back on hours.
Yeah, how'd you know?
And if I'm understanding you right, you're saying, well, that was a decision we made back then, but now we're seeing more stress on the office, and Barb's here if she wants to comment one way or the other, but that's what you're saying is we made a decision 2.5 years ago. Now it's a different thing. It's a different environment that you want to push to make this a full-time position.
No, for sure. I think that's a valid question. Obviously, at the time, I can't speak to the full rationalization, but I mean, it does make sense for the intent of trying to pursue with the grant writer and that collaboration. You know, I do know that prior to that, there was the deputy, like there was the 2 full-time role. Barb has done, and I don't mean to speak on behalf, but I mean, I will. Barb has done a terrific job, and she has worked her butt off to relatively do the work of 2 people, along with the folks in the front office, Kate and Shelley, Steph. I mean, they have all stepped up collectively. There is a lot of work that is being divvied up amongst the staff. And again, with the ability to, I mean, we're going from, if I recall correctly, it's currently budgeted for about 3 days a week. You're including it to be 5. But again, without that ability, it's very hard to find someone to get into that position and stay for long. And I do think that this is a very good opportunity for us long term, especially as we're trying to get things moving forward. The deputy clerk, if I recall, is a strong component of the election. So getting someone that is consistently involved, I do believe that that is a really good opportunity for the city.
Okay.
Corey, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. So if I'm understanding correctly, we are essentially adding a net of 2 FTEs here since we decided to fund the grant writer. My issue with this is that based on the calendar and past practice, we're probably going to have a personnel workshop within the budgeting season in about a month. We typically have had those in September. Maybe that's changed this year. I feel like this request is more appropriately discussed during that time because what will come up is cost of living increases, insurance, so on and so forth, and essentially adding costs to next year's budget that we haven't even discussed yet. We can talk about the needs, but it doesn't feel like this is the appropriate time to do that. And that's the concern that I have. And we could talk about, well, 2025 was good. Without having seen a budget for 2026 and we're adding FTEs, that's my concern. And so again, I would like to see this more discussed within the personnel budget workshop if we're looking to add FTE, seeing what some of the other department requests are. It's not for me to decide what the city's needs are. I don't work for the city on a day-to-day basis, and that's not my role. But we do have these workshops, and we do invest a lot of our time at these meetings. And if we're going to be bringing personnel requests outside of those, unless it's a dire, like we have to have this right now, or else we're going to close the doors, I just don't. I don't feel like this is the appropriate request at this time. I get the workload thing, but I'd like to see this discussed within the budget season and cycle. And unless this is absolutely so pressing that we can't wait until that budget workshop, I'm not comfortable moving forward. So.
Well, thank you for your input on that. For clarification, it is 1.5. I mean, it is still a part-time, so it would just be 1.5. But I do appreciate your input.
Other comments? Discussion?
We just heard Josh talking about, he had some turnover, it's a part-time position, it's a challenge to fill, and he got 2 good applications, he thinks, he doesn't know. I still think there's a slice of people out there, maybe somebody that's had a family recently, they want to get back into the workforce. We just haven't married up the right person yet. So I'm kind of in favor of, because if the argument, one of the main points of the argument is we can't find anybody, and elections are tough. I think they're very intimidating. I think when people learn that that's a big part of the job, they probably, they're a little reticent. but, you know, it would feel better for me if I'm asked to fund this position full-time, to see if we can try to fill it one more time and see if you get an adequate individual, see how things roll. If the person fits in and the workload deems it, sometime in the future, we could make a move to a full-time. But I don't know, I haven't given up on the part-time idea for me.
Paul, go ahead.
Josh, do we have a part-time deputy clerk right now?
Hired like as like a current employee?
Right.
No, we do not.
How many have we had in the past 2.5 years? Okay, so you hire them, you train them, and after a year or so, they leave.
If that.
Yeah.
Couple months.
Couple of months?
Mm-hmm. The first one was probably 5 months, I think.
Okay, so you're in need right now. You don't even have a part-timer. So, and everybody's overworked. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. I would move to authorize the city to post and hire a deputy clerk as soon as possible.
Okay, we have a motion by Paul Mayo. Do we have a second?
Second.
By Eric? I'm sorry. Motion by Mayo, second by Helverson, that we approve a hiring of a full-time deputy clerk. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
I would be in agreement with Corey on this, that there seems to be a better time for this might be with our budgeting workshops, and then we can look forward to, you know, what the implications would be with 2026 and 2027 with this. It's not just simply that we can do this with the money that we have this year. And I would hate to approve this and get going, and then when we look at 26 or maybe 27's budget, we say, oh man, we really need to cut something somewhere. So I think that the better place for it is in our budget discussions, and that's not that far off. So.
Okay. Other comments? Dave, go ahead.
I'm tending to lean towards what Paul and Corey said also. Is it possible to find somebody for a deputy clerk for the remainder of this year, whenever you get them, with the idea there's a potential to get a full-time position a year from now or 6 months from now? Is that even a possibility, or is it time you train them, it's already 26, I know what you're saying, so that would be my idea.
Yeah, Dimitri, go ahead.
With the duties that the part-time person has been fulfilling, if we hire a full-time person, then they should have extra capacity beyond just those part-time duties, right? So is there maybe an existing full-time position that some of those duties could be transferred into this clerk and maybe make that into a part-time? No, I'm saying, could there be some savings elsewhere by transferring some duties from another position into this and making another position part-time?
I don't really think so, unfortunately. I think, the capacity is relatively where it's at within the clerk's finance, most of the departments.
And this kind of goes to what Corey was suggesting too. If we're looking at all the different positions together, then and each department's needs together, then we might be able to see where one could offset another.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, just a thought, and I know that we have a motion on the floor in a second. You know, if we were to go back and post this job in its current state with the potential for it being full-time, as we move through the budget workshop, and if the council were to approve that, we could potentially go through interviews and say this could become a full-time position, and that might yield a better pool of applicants. But again, I'm just not, I can't support adding FTE when we're going to have a budget workshop next month, and I know what we're going to talk about there. And to Paul's point, we've had discussions about, well, what does FTE look like? I think we had one with the police last year with, well, what does it look like if we don't have a captain? We've had these discussions, so if we were to post this with the potential of part-time, depending on council approval, I think all of us here want to see our not be overwhelmed, or not that you are, but that you are receiving the appropriate support and help that you need. Again, I just feel like these are budget workshop things. Thank you.
Paul, go ahead.
I understand what Corey is saying, but the need is there now. This is not a matter of principle. The need is genuinely there now. The workload is too high. Otherwise, Josh wouldn't be coming before us to make this request right now. It is unusual in the middle of the year, but the need is so great that he felt it necessary to present this to us now. And there is no deputy clerk now at all. No.
And there hasn't been, for clarification.
Okay, Scott.
I presume by bringing this forward, someone on staff has looked forward and forecast that we could sustain this in 26, 27. I don't believe, am I right? I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't bring this forward if you thought something was going to tip the table wrong for us by hiring a full-time. Am I right in that, Josh? Or?
We have had discussions.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end of the day, it is still up to the council to make the determination about how we move forward within the personnel meeting. But there have been discussions about feasibility moving forward.
Okay.
Okay, Dave, go ahead.
Along with that, we haven't talked about the other position yet either. How much more will that add? And has that been thought out all the way through too? So,
Well, let's not muddy the waters
No,
here.
well,
We're
there's
talking about the deputy
like I
clerk.
said, go on, but then I might decide.
Let's just talk about the deputy clerk now.
Thank you.
All right? Okay. Okay, any other? Eric?
One more thing, I guess, when you're throwing a part-time position out there, it's a stepping stone for a lot of people to move on. I'm sure we've had some very good people in that deputy position, but it's not all just our budget cycle coming up too. It's every other municipality. So if we look at putting someone on in a part-time position or just waiting, and someone else chooses that, I don't know what's out there, but if we have the need now and we can put that out there, I think we should really look at it. There's a lot of money that's wasted in training and turnover. I've run businesses, and part-time people, they go for the next step in many, many cases. There are some out there that want just part-time, but if we need a full-time job, I think you have to do it now. Look at it, stop wasting the training time and the effort there.
Okay, any other comments? Any other comments? All right, we will have a roll call vote. This is to approve the hiring of full-time deputy clerk.
Corey Nagel,
No.
Dave Peterson,
No.
Paul Hagan,
No.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
No.
Colin Dykstra,
No.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin.
No.
3 ayes, 6 noes, and 1 absent. So,
So
motion denied.
motion failed. Corey, I think your comments are, even though you voted no, I think you're still, most of you, maybe not Henry, I didn't get that from him, but the rest of you are still willing to have this discussion during the budget process.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. With that said, let's not, I'm not gonna say waste time, but let's not even talk about the assistant planner tonight. Let's, go through the same process and we'll bring it, staff will bring it forward during the budget process.
Mayor, can the staff, because it's a budgeted position, kind of proceed as Dave and kind of outline, and Corey, you know, try to fill the position, see where you're at.
So,
You
Henry,
know?
I get your comment, but that's not what staff wants. They've tried that. They've tried, they had a really, really good deputy clerk. And she left because it was a part-time position. They filled it with another not so good, and they were happy he did leave, candidate. So they just don't, they feel like, again, I'm in the office and I get to see what's going on and stuff like that, and I do believe that a deputy clerk that is part-time is not the answer to this. This is a very important position. Their duties will probably be expanded maybe to other areas within the clerk's office, the clerk's finance, city administrator's office, so that they have more duties than just the deputy clerk position, but that position is good. So I would say, yeah, we could try and fill that part-time position, but I don't think that would be the best use of their time. Okay, so with the motion, can we just table unless you guys, somebody wants to make a motion, but can we just have a motion to table the discussion on hiring of an assistant planner?
I'd make that motion to table the item of assistant planner.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Hagan, second by Nagel, that we table the discussion on the hiring of an assistant planner. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against,
Aye.
say no. Motion carried. License report number 1733. This is operator's license. You can find that on page 226. There's 3 names on there. We would be looking for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Was that Dimitri? I'm sorry. Yeah, motion by Martin, second by Nagel, that we approve license report 1733. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. All right, next up, we have a request for arcade amusement device license. And this is on page 227 of your packet. We're looking for a motion to approve license report number 1734.
Move to approve 1734.
Second.
Motion by Veliker, second by Peterson, that we approve license report number 1734. Any discussion? Paul, go ahead.
As always, I don't necessarily condone gambling machines for amusement devices, and I'll be voting against this license.
Any other discussion? All right, you want a roll call vote? Okay, I got this down pat now, so. By the call of the roll.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
No.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Scott Berchatsky,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Eric Helverson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
No.
6,
Should be like
7 no, 7 ayes, 2 no nays, motion carried. Sorry, basic
Thank you.
math.
All right, Next up, we have a item under the issues projected discussion, 30-minute maximum. I've told this is about a 5-minute discussion here, but in your packet, you have a letter or a memo from Eric Bailey about the library meeting room construction. Eric, you want to just go through that and explain what's going on?
Absolutely. We've got one big conference room that holds 12 to 18 people. We've got a whole bunch of small rooms that hold maximum 2 people if you're really comfortable with each other. And we've got a need for some additional space in between those 2 sizes. We've got some space along the north wall of the main floor to put in a couple of rooms there. We can use the existing space by consolidating on existing shelving, the collection that we already have, so we're not going to have to give up anything. And we've got a donation from 2 folks, including a lead donation from the Anthony family, to cover the cost. So this is in your packet as a memo, as a heads up. My understanding is that it's not presented for a vote, but we're excited to move forward and add this to the library space. Any questions?
How's that for a 30-minute discussion, huh? Anybody have any questions at all? I'm sure Eric would be happy. He gave me a tour of where those are going to be and stuff, and they look like they'll fit in there nicely. Just stop on over if you want to see what he's talking about. Okay, any questions there? Under communications, I know it's been a long meeting because my battery on the computer just died. Under communications recommendations, the mayor, speaking of the budget process, and of course, with having a new city administrator, we've been having discussion on how to handle the budget meetings. And the last couple of years, what we've done is we've just extended city council meetings. So we've held them on the first, we've held 4 separate meetings. One was personnel, one was finance, one was enterprise. What's the other one? TIFs, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So your option here is we could continue to do that, which would mean you would have 4 council meetings in September and October. That would be quite a bit longer. Obviously, we'll have quite a bit of discussion, it sounds like. Or we could separate these budget meetings to different nights. So, and I guess the obvious dates would just to be to do them on a Tuesday. So if we did, and I'm just throwing this at you, I don't think you care one way or the other, or Stephanie cares one way or the other, but it does get to be quite a long meeting, and we want everybody to really be with it when we have this discussion. So it doesn't have to be on Tuesdays, but what we would be doing is if we separated that, we would be having a meeting every Tuesday night in the month of September and in October, if we separated. Or we might be able to do 2 things in one night. Like we could do TIF and the enterprise one night, and personnel and what's the other one now?
Utilities and TIF, and then personnel, and then the next one is the draft budget.
So there's 4 different items that we've had, right? So we could do it in 2 meetings, I guess. So what's your choice here? One would be having, let's eliminate having 4 separate meetings. But let's have 2 budget meetings separate from the city council meetings. Okay, and we don't have to answer tonight, but if I can get kind of a consensus, does a Tuesday work for you? like the second Tuesday or the fourth Tuesday. Probably the second Tuesday of September and then the second Tuesday of October would probably be the best.
Yeah.
Is that okay? All right, and we'd probably start at the same time, 6 o'clock? Make it easy enough? All right, so, anybody else have anything for the good of the meeting tonight? Anything else? Last I looked, we were down 2-0.
Yeah, it's 2-1.
2-1.
I just have
Okay.
some quick, Mayor, that I have to put a plug in for. Justin and I and a group of people for the last 10 months have been working diligently to bring youth football, tackle football to the community. Our first home game is this Saturday at noon and 1:30. So for those of you that like football, come on out to Comet Field and watch our inaugural game. So, sorry, I know this isn't public comment. but-
No, I like it.
Is this a youth, is this a youth game?
Yeah. Okay, anybody else have any other comments? Paul?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, okay. Motion by Hagan, second by Peterson to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, say no. Motion carried. We're adjourned at 8:24 PM. Have a great night, everybody.